Hello, welcome to this session, whatever that means in this context. This is Sean work with three colleagues at Universidad and Andrés on the long-term effects of military conscription on personality and beliefs. The paper is now forthcoming at Restart. If you're interested in the paper, you can find it at this link. Personality and beliefs are formed in late adolescence and early adulthood in a period between 15 years old and 25 years old. This is so-called impressionable years hypothesis by social psychologists. And therefore, if you are interested in studying the determinants of personality and belief, you should pay particular attention to events that affect people at this age. And for millions and millions of men from all around the world, military conscription is one of such important events. So what we are going to study is the link between a military conscription, that is a policy affecting millions of men at impressionable years, on the formation of personality and belief when adulthood. So our paper provides empirical evidence on the causal impact of military conscription on subsequent personality and beliefs. To address potential endogeneity concerns, we exploit the Argentine draft lottery that randomly assigned millions of men to be eligible for conscription. The main finding is that men that serve in the conscription are more likely to adopt the military mindset and that this effect is long-lasting. Military conscription is the mandatory enlistment in a country's armed forces. Approximately now, 1/3 of countries of all around the world have military conscription. That in general is only for men, only a few countries conscript women. In general, men serve at age 18. The duration of military conscription varies quite substantially. In some countries, it's only 4 months, and it can be as long as 32 months. In Argentina, military conscription was mandatory for most of the 20th century. It consists of a basic instruction period of 3 months in which recruits learn military norms and armed training. After that, conscripts were allocated to a military unit to perform a specific duty, not necessarily related to military training, for example, be the cook for a general. Okay. The last incorporated cohort was the 1975. Until the 1955 cohort, young males were called to serve at age 21, after the 1958 cohort at age 18. Our analysis focuses on all cohorts that served at age 18, that is, on cohorts that were born between 1958 and 1975. How did the Argentine draft lottery work? Well, this was very transparent. Each year there was a lottery system that assigned a number between 1 and 1,000 to each of the last 3 ID numbers. The lottery system was run in a public session. This session was administered by the National Lottery, and the results were broadcasted in the radio and major newspapers. A cutoff number was announced later on, a couple of months later, and those ID numbers with a lottery number above the cutoff were eligible to serve in the conscription. So if your lottery was above the cutoff, you were eligible for conscription. If your lottery number was below the cutoff, you were draft exempt. Final incorporation was based on a pre-induction physical and mental examination. So in order to get the outcomes, we have administrative data provided by Argentine Army on the lottery draft results for these cohorts, 1958 to 1975, and cutoff numbers for these cohorts. The survey that we used to obtain the outcomes was sent by email in November 2018 to approximately 19,000 men. and we received approximately 1,100 answers. Conscription was not mentioned in the call, and in order to encourage participation, those that completed the survey were included in a raffle for smartphones. Actually, one of the participants was awarded with a smartphone. In the survey, we include 10 questions, just 10 questions that are our 10 outcomes. 5 on personality traits and 5 specific beliefs related to the military culture. Personality traits include tolerance, discipline, authoritarianism, conservatism, and belligerence. And the specific beliefs are the right to bear arms, justification of the use of violence to solve conflicts, justification of interventions in foreign countries, the need of having a mandatory military conscription. This question is to study or to have an idea if the institution is self-perpetuating, and the justification for coups against democratically elected governments. From the survey, we also obtained self-reported information on the last 3 ID digits that is important for the intention to treat variable. Conscription status, if he actually served or not in the conscription, and a small set of pretreatment characteristics that we use to check balancing. Using the self-reported last 3 ID digits that were the ones that were used for the raffle of the smartphone, and the cutoff number by cohorts provided by the army, Argentine army, we define the dummy variable draft eligible, which is our intention to treat variable that takes the value of 1 for those men who has for the last 3 ID numbers is above the cutoff, and therefore for those men that were draft eligible. And we also construct the actual treatment variable, what we call conscription, which takes the value of 1 for men who report serving the conscription. We believe that there is not measurement error in this variable. It's impossible that you don't remember if you serve or not in the conscription. Since we only have 1,100 observations in our sample, we test for differential selection into the survey by draft eligibility status in 3 ways. First, we show that population and sample proportions of draft eligible are statistically indistinguishable. The sample distribution of the last 3 ID digits is statistically not different from the population distribution, that is the uniform distribution. And third, most pretreatment characteristics are balanced within our sample. Sorry. So we conclude that results reported below are not subject to significant sources of selection bias. In this context, our empirical strategy is straightforward. We run a regression of the outcomes, the 10 outcomes, and the variable conscription. We include strata fixed effects. Okay, all standard errors are clustered by ID cohort because all men born in the same year that share the last 3 ID numbers were allocated to the same lottery number. So as usual, we cluster at the level that the random assignment was done, and we include strata fixed effect. In this case, strata is the cohort. We estimate this equation using 2-step least square, using draft eligible, that is our intention to treat variable, as an instrument for conscription, that is our treatment variable. And in order to draw general conclusions in a context where we have 10 outcomes, we construct an index of personality traits and an index of beliefs. So we transform the 5 individual metrics of personality traits in one index and the 5 individual metrics of beliefs in an index. The first stage estimates are quite high. The first stage estimates are important. The F statistics is very high. You can see that in the paper if you want. And the probability of serving the conscription is 40 percentage points higher for draft eligible men. Even though there were some compliers because of the medical examination, people that didn't pass the medical examination and were very, very small fraction of compliers because they were volunteers. So there was a small fraction of volunteers, more or less 5%, and some non-compliers that didn't pass the medical examination. The probability of actually serving the conscription is substantially higher for those men that were randomly assigned to serving the conscription. Here are the main results. So we can attach the 10 minutes limit that we have. The estimates are of equation 1 are positive, and in all cases positive and statistically significant, and can be interpreted as showing that conscription produces men that adopt a military mindset. To better understand an interpretation of what this means, it's better to see the individual estimates on the separate metrics. We have the 5 measures of personality traits, the 5 measures of beliefs. In all cases, the estimated coefficients go in the direction of people that serve in the conscription adopt a military mindset. 10 out of 10 coefficients have the correct sign, and most of these coefficients are statistically significant. The difference in personality traits are very important, are quite substantive. Tolerance is 5 percentage points lower for those that serve in the conscription. Conservatism is 3 percentage points higher, or 5%. The probability of having a violent personality goes up by 4 percentage points. This is quite important, it's 10%. The differences in beliefs are even more important. Serving in the conscription significantly increases the probability of accepting coups by 18 percentage points. This is more than 200%. The probability of supporting the right to bear arms by 15 percentage points, that is 90%. And military conscription looks as a self-perpetuating institution. People that serve in the conscription are more likely to be in favor of mandatory conscription. To conclude, our paper provides novel evidence on the role that military conscription has on subsequent beliefs and personality traits. We find strong evidence that serving in the conscription changes the way individuals see the war, in the sense that men that serve in the conscription are more likely to have personality traits, values, and beliefs that are in line with the ones observed in the military culture. As a drawback, our experiment does not identify the mechanisms through which personality affects, through which conscription affects personality and beliefs. Thank you very much for coming.